Good afternoon everybody, and welcome to another video from Tall Travels. It's a beautiful, although cold and blustery day here in the beautiful city of St. Petersburg. So everybody, today I wanted to talk about internet and VPNs in Russia. Now let me start by saying that I think the internet and Wi-Fi is actually very good here in Russia. So when you're out and about in cafes, restaurants and stuff like that, there's almost always free Wi-Fi that you can use. But here in Russia, it's quite different to a lot of other countries. So here in Russia, most of the time, you'll have to put your phone number, give your phone number to this network in order to gain access to the Wi-Fi. So what happens? You put your phone number in, and you get an SMS code. A lot of the time it's like that. Or you put your number in and you get a phone call from some random number, and you have to tell the system the last 4 digits of the number that called you. Or they give you a number to call and you call it and it hangs up and you're connected to the internet. So yeah, sometimes the Wi-Fi doesn't work though, so you should really check to make sure if it works if you're going to a cafe or a restaurant, because you don't want to invest in a place, buy some food and a coffee, then pull out your laptop to do some work and it's not working. Now everybody, internet in Russia is pretty cheap compared to most countries. I mean, I can't talk too much for home Wi-Fi connections. But let's talk about mobile internet. So you've got some major providers like Tele2, Beeline, MTS and some other ones. Now I'm personally with Tele2. So I believe that when I arrived here into Russia, I paid approximately 700 rubles. I can't quite remember. I think it's 700 rubles. So in British money, that's less than £8. And for those 700 rubles, I got 35 gigabytes of mobile internet. So that's pretty damn good. And I also got, I think it was 600 minutes to other phones in Russia. Now, I barely use any of those minutes, to be honest, because most of the people I'm talking to on social media, Telegram and whatnot. So yeah, definitely more than I need. But with mobile internet, I'm using quite a lot of allowance because I'm quite often tethering my connection. So if I'm somewhere where there's no Wi-Fi or it's a bad connection or something like that, then I'll just use my mobile phone as an internet connection and hook my laptop up to it. So if you're sitting down in a cafe, in a shopping center or something like that, and for some reason you can't get access to the internet, then there's quite often some other open networks around that will let you connect, provided you give them your phone number and receive the code. Can you shut up, for God's sake? I'm trying to make a video over here. So guys, I've had no major issues with fixed line internet here really. Sometimes when I'm uploading videos to YouTube, I have to go to some cafe or something where they have a good upload speed. So I use speedtest.net to test the upload speed. I used to use fast.com, but I believe that's blocked in Russia now. Guys, I had to move seat again there because there's a very cold wind blowing. I was getting a chilly willy. Anyway, so let's go back to talking about mobile internet. Now, the first thing you need to do when you arrive into Russia is get a SIM card. Now, I believe at all the international airports, they've got SIM card vending machines, and they've also got like booths. The main phone provider's got little shops there. And you need to show your passport to get connected to Russia, to internet in Russia. So all you need is your passport, and to be honest, it's very, very quick. But remember, Visa and MasterCard don't work in this country, so you either have to exchange some money when you arrive at the airport or bring some currency with you. So it might be difficult these days to acquire rubles when you're outside of the country, but I believe it's pretty easy at the airports here in Russia. Now, one of the most important reasons for sorting yourself out with internet at the airport is because many of us will be taking a taxi from the airport to our accommodation, whether it's a hotel or private apartment. So, yeah, we've got a wonderful taxi service here in Russia called Yandex. So, yeah, you need to hook your phone number up to Yandex. I mean, you might be able to use your international SIM card. You probably can, in fact. But anyway, so yeah, hook your SIM card up to Yandex, and then because a lot of new visitors to this country won't have a bank account yet, you're going to have to select cash option on Yandex. So everybody, let's talk about the main subject of this video, the Great Firewall of Russia. For quite some time now, we've heard about the Great Firewall of China. So I haven't been to China myself, but I've heard, you know, in China you can't access Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and things like that. A lot of Western tech companies have been blocked. So here in Russia, some of the websites that are blocked or apps, Facebook is blocked, Instagram is blocked, Twitter is blocked, Proton Mail is blocked. These are just some that I'm thinking up off the top of my head, and there's many others. And there's also a lot of Western websites that won't even let you access a website from a Russian IP address. Look at that, everybody. A pair of twins just went past. Now everybody, we know the reasons these blocks are taking place. They don't want any revolutions or coup d'etats to spread via social media. And it's also to limit Western influence on Russia, because now Russia's becoming more isolated and they're trying to be more self-sufficient. So, you know, instead of YouTube, they've got RuTube. I'm not sure if they've come up with an alternative to Instagram yet, but for many years they've had a Russian equivalent of Facebook, and it's called Kontakte, or vk.com is a website address. So it's pretty much the same as Facebook. I use it myself for listening to music. Now, I don't believe there's any problems with TikTok here in Russia. I've never used TikTok personally. But of course it's a Chinese company, so I don't think Russia are going to have any issue with Chinese social media companies here. So everybody, most Russians are still using these blocked Western websites in Russia. So, you know, the vast majority, I think I saw some figures somewhere where it said about 60 or 70% of Russians are using VPNs to access blocked websites. Now, I think technically this is illegal, but I really doubt they're going to do anything on an individual basis to tourists or citizens. For them, it's more about blocking the VPN companies that allow their citizens and other people to gain access to these websites. So that's where it gets a bit tricky here in Russia, because for the authorities here, it's a bit like whack-a-mole with these VPNs. They find one and then they block it, then another one appears, and so on. So, yeah, I mean, when I was last in this country, there were some VPNs that were working, and now those VPNs are working are not working, but I found another one that didn't used to work. A lot of public internet providers in shopping centers, restaurants, cafes and whatnot, they're blocking access to VPNs. So yeah, it's quite annoying. You sit down in you know, the Russian equivalent of Starbucks or something like that. You bought your coffee, you got your laptop, you're ready to do some work, connect to the Wi-Fi with your phone number, then try and connect to the VPN, and it doesn't work. So this is mega annoying for me here in Russia, and I'm sure it's a similar story for many other Russian citizens here, especially those influencers, of which there are many in Russia. You know, they can't easily walk down the street and upload their Instagram stories and stuff like that. So yeah, guys, it's a bit of an annoyance for me. For example, sometimes I upload pictures and stories and stuff like that to my Instagram account, realtalltravels, by the way, just in case you haven't seen it. and I can't do that like walking around, because my mobile provider Tele2, they are blocking all VPNs that I've tried. I haven't found a single one that works. Now, I'm not sure if that's the same for other networks. I might buy a second SIM card just to see if that maybe circumvents it. So I think I'm going to experience with the cheapest kind of network there is, get the lowest data package. It's called Beeline. So at some point I'm going to buy a Beeline SIM card and have a second SIM card in my phone and see if that makes any difference. So yeah, when I was last in St. Petersburg, that wasn't the case. I still had Tele2, but there were some VPNs I could still connect to with my mobile connection. So everybody, there's some VPNs that are still working in Russia. I found one that's working, and I'm not going to tell you which one I'm using because you're going to blab it all over the internet, and then what's going to happen? It's going to get blocked. A case of trial and error. So maybe you can find some VPNs that have a free trial, so you don't have to pay anything up front, because you don't want to pay for a VPN for a month or a year or something and then find out you can't use it. Now, another idea would be to choose a lesser known VPN company, some obscure one that hardly anybody ever uses, because I would imagine that the authorities in Russia will be a lot of the time going after the most popular ones. You can also try experimenting with the different protocols on different VPNs and see if one protocol connects rather than other ones. So I've tried that so far and I've had no luck, but yeah, maybe worth a try. Although this is an annoyance for me on a personal level, I actually rather like it in some ways, because, you know, these globalist tools are blocked now in Russia, so there's going to be less people walking down the street, like staring into the phone, not watching where they're walking because they're on Instagram. So yeah, not all bad. Also, people are finding that there's some VPNs that work on a Wi-Fi connection, a fixed connection, but don't work on a mobile connection, but also vice versa. So it's a real mixed bag. So to summarize, everybody, it's a little bit tricky finding a VPN that works, but eventually you'll find one that'll work and you'll be able to go about your daily business. And I don't think it's going to become much worse in the future. They can't block all the VPNs, so I think we'll always be able to access the websites that we need while we're in Russia. So everybody, I hope you found this information useful today. If you did, please click like and subscribe, because I'm going to be uploading more videos on practical information for living in Russia and also visiting Russia, as well as more general videos from this beautiful city of St. Petersburg in Russia. So until next time, see you later.